The galaxy had been quiet for 10,000 years. The hegemony ruled everything, and everything obeyed. That was the way of things. That was the only way anyone remembered. Earth was just another world on the list, a small blue planet that had once been home to 7 billion people. Now it was empty. The humans had been scattered across the stars like dust in the wind. They worked in mines on frozen moons. They served food in stations that floated between worlds. They cleaned the floors of alien palaces and said thank you when they were paid. Yuna was one of them. She was 26 years old and had never seen Earth. Her parents had never seen it either. They were born on a transit ship, and they died on a transit ship, and Yuna had been alone since she was 15. But she carried something with her that most humans had forgotten. She carried the old songs. Her grandmother had taught them to her mother, and her mother had taught them to her. Songs about mountains that touched the sky. Songs about rivers that never stopped running. Songs about love and loss and the feeling of rain on your face. Yuna did not know what rain felt like, but when she sang about it, she thought she understood. She worked in the Imperial Palace on Valeth Prime, the throne world of the hegemony. Her job was to organize the archives. The hegemony had conquered so many worlds that they had rooms full of things they had taken, books and paintings and sculptures and instruments. They kept everything and looked at nothing. It was all just proof that they had won. Yuna worked alone in the deep archives where the air was cold and the lights were dim. She liked it there. No one watched her. No one told her to be quiet. And sometimes when she was sure no one could hear, she sang. That was how the trouble started. She was organizing a box of old Earth artifacts when she found a wooden flute. It was cracked and worn, and someone had carved flowers into the side. She held it carefully and wondered who had made it. She wondered if they had been happy. Without thinking, she began to hum. Then she began to sing. It was a simple song. One her mother had sung to her when she was small. It was about a bird that flew over the mountains to find its home. The words were old and the melody was older, but Yuna remembered every note. She did not hear the door open. The guard grabbed her arm and pulled her to her feet. He was Veleth, tall and pale, with eyes like black glass. He did not speak. He just dragged her through the halls of the palace, past servants who looked away, past soldiers who did not care. Yuna knew where they were going. She knew what happened to humans who broke the rules. Unsanctioned cultural expression. That was what they called it. It was a crime to sing without permission. It was a crime to remember who you were. They brought her to the throne room. She had never been inside before. It was vast and dark, with walls of black stone that seemed to swallow the light. At the far end, on a throne carved from a single piece of crystal, sat the Empress. Empress Heian had ruled the hegemony for 3,000 years. She was ancient even by Veleth standards. Her skin was pale as snow, and her hair was white as starlight, and her face showed nothing. No anger, no curiosity, no life at all. The guard pushed Yuna to her knees. "This human was singing in the archives," he said. "She was not authorized." The Empress looked at Yuna. Her eyes were dark and deep, like wells that had no bottom. "What were you singing?" she asked. Her voice was soft. Yuna had expected it to be cold, but it was not. It was empty, like a room where no one had lived for a very long time. Yuna swallowed. "A song from Earth, Your Majesty, about a bird flying home." "Sing it." Yuna blinked. "Your Majesty? Sing it for me, now." Yuna looked at the guard. He looked confused. She looked back at the Empress, and she understood that this was not a request. This was a command. So she sang. Her voice trembled at first. The throne room was so big and so dark, and the Empress watched her with those empty eyes. But the song was familiar. The song was safe. And slowly, Yuna forgot where she was. She forgot the guard and the throne and the Empress. She was just a girl singing her mother's song, the way she had done 1,000 times before. When she finished, the throne room was silent. The Empress had not moved. She sat perfectly still, her hands resting on the arms of her throne. But something had changed. Yuna could not say what it was. The air felt different, heavier, like the moment before a storm. "Leave us," the Empress said to the guard. He hesitated. "Your Majesty, the human—" "Leave us." The guard bowed and left. The door closed behind him with a sound like thunder. Yuna was alone with the Empress of the galaxy. She waited for punishment. She waited for death. But the Empress only looked at her, and for the first time, there was something in those dark eyes. Not anger, not cruelty. Something else. Something that looked almost like hunger. "What is your name?" the Empress asked. "Yuna, Your Majesty." "Yuna." The Empress said the name slowly, like she was tasting it. "Tell me, Yuna, why do your people sing?" Yuna did not understand the question. I don't know, Your Majesty. We just do. We always have." "We do not sing," the Empress said. "The Velith have no songs. We have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years, and we have never needed them." She paused. "And yet, when you sang just now, I felt something. I do not know what it was, but I felt it." Yuna did not know what to say. The Empress stood. She was tall, taller than any human, and her robes flowed around her like water. She walked down the steps from her throne and stopped in front of Yuna. "You will not return to the archives," she said. "From now on, you will stay in the palace. You will be my archivist, my personal archivist, and you will sing for me whenever I ask." Yuna's heart was beating so fast, she thought it might burst. "Your Majesty, This is not a request." Yuna bowed her head. "Yes, Your Majesty?" The Empress turned and walked back to her throne. But before she sat down, she looked over her shoulder at Yuna. "That song," she said. "The bird that flies over the mountains. Does it find its home?" Yuna nodded. "Yes, Your Majesty, it does." The Empress was quiet for a long moment. Then she sat down and looked away. "Good," she said. "That is good." And Yuna understood somehow that this was only the beginning. Yuna lived in a small room in the upper levels of the palace. It had a window that looked out over the capital city, a sea of towers and lights that stretched to the horizon. She had never seen anything so big. She had never felt so small. Every morning, a servant brought her food. Every evening, a guard took her to the Empress. And every night, she sang. At first, she was afraid. The Empress sat on her throne and watched her with those dark, empty eyes, and Yuna felt like a small animal being studied by something that did not know if it wanted to eat her or let her go. She sang the songs her mother had taught her, the simple ones, the safe ones, lullabies and folk songs and children's rhymes. The Empress listened. She never smiled. She never frowned. She just listened. But slowly, things began to change. One night, after Yuna finished a song about a farmer planting seeds in the spring, the Empress spoke. "Why does he plant seeds if he knows the winter will come and kill them?" Yuna thought about this. "Because spring will come again, Your Majesty. The seeds will grow back. But they will die again. Yes, but they will grow back again too. That is how life works." The Empress was quiet for a long time. "The Velith do not think this way," she said finally. "We do not plant things that will die. We build things that will last forever." Yuna looked around the throne room, the black stone walls, the cold crystal throne. Everything was hard and permanent and lifeless. "Does that make you happy, Your Majesty?" she asked. She knew immediately that she should not have said it. You did not ask the Empress of the galaxy if she was happy. You did not ask her anything at all. But the Empress did not punish her. She just looked at Yuna with an expression that might have been surprise. "I do not know," she said. "I do not remember what happy feels like." After that night, things were different. The Empress began to ask questions. Not commands, not demands, but real questions. She wanted to understand the songs. She wanted to understand the words. She wanted to understand why humans felt the things they felt. "What is this word, home?" she asked one night after a song about a sailor lost at sea. "You use it often. We have no word like it." Yuna tried to explain. "It is a place where you belong, where you feel safe, where people love you." "A place?" "Sometimes. Sometimes it is a person. Sometimes it is just a feeling." The Empress considered this. "I have ruled this palace for 3,000 years. Is this my home?" Yuna looked at the cold walls, the empty halls, the throne where the Empress sat alone night after night. "I do not think so, Your Majesty," she said softly. The Empress did not answer, but Yuna thought she saw something flicker in those dark eyes, something like sadness. She began to understand, slowly, what the Valeth were. They were ancient. They were powerful. They had conquered the galaxy and ruled it for 10,000 years. But they were empty. They had lived so long that they had forgotten how to feel. They had built an empire to fill the hole inside them, but the hole only grew bigger. The Empress was the emptiest of them all. She had lived for 3,000 years. She had seen civilizations rise and fall. She had watched stars burn out and new ones take their place. And through it all, she had felt nothing. She had sat on her throne in her cold palace and wondered, perhaps, if there was something wrong with her, if there was something she was missing. And then she heard Yuna sing. Yuna began to sing different songs, harder songs, songs about loss and longing, about joy and pain, about the 1,000 small moments that made up a human life. She sang about mothers holding their children. She sang about lovers saying goodbye. She sang about old men sitting alone and remembering when they were young. The Empress listened to all of it. She never cried. The Velith did not cry. But sometimes, after a song ended, she would sit very still and breathe deeply, like she was trying to hold something inside her that wanted to get out. "How do you do it?" she asked one night. "How do you feel so much and not break apart?" Yuna thought about this. It was a good question. She had felt so much pain in her life. She had lost her parents. She had been taken from the only home she knew. She had worked and suffered and been alone. "I think we do break apart," she said. "But then we put ourselves back together, and we keep going. That is what humans do." "Why?" "Because the feeling is worth it. Even the pain, even the sadness. It means we are alive." The Empress looked at her for a long moment. "I have been alive for 3,000 years," she said. "But I do not think I have ever felt alive. Not like that." Yuna did not know what to say, so she did the only thing she knew how to do. She sang. The months passed, the songs continued, and something grew between them, not friendship. The Empress was still the ruler of the galaxy, and Yuna was still a human servant. But something. A connection, an understanding. Yuna began to see the Empress differently. She was not a tyrant. She was not a monster. She was just old. She was tired. She had been alive for so long that she had forgotten what it meant to live. And the Empress began to see Yuna differently, too. She was not just a human. She was not just a voice. She was a window into something the Empress had never known, something she was beginning to want. One night, after a song about two friends who promised to meet again in another life, the Empress spoke. "Yuna," she said, "do you hate me?" Yuna was surprised by the question. "No, Your Majesty. Your people are scattered. Your world is empty. We did that. I did that." Yuna thought about her parents. She thought about Earth, the planet she had never seen, the home she had never known. She thought about all the humans who had lived and died under Velith rule. "I am angry," she said. "I am sad, but I do not hate you." "Why not?" Yuna looked at the Empress, at her pale face and dark eyes, at the weariness that clung to her like a shadow. "Because hate takes too much energy," Yuna said, "and because I think you are as much a prisoner as I am. Your throne is just a bigger cage." The Empress did not answer, but she closed her eyes, and Yuna thought she saw her hands tremble, just for a moment. "Sing for me again," the Empress whispered. "Please." It was the first time she had ever said please. Yuna sang, and as she sang, she wondered if it was possible to save someone who had been lost for 3,000 years. She wondered if songs could do what armies could not. She did not know the answer, but she was going to try. Yuna was sleeping when her datapad buzzed. She opened her eyes and looked at the screen. There was a single line of text encrypted from a sender she did not recognize. "Sister, we need to talk. Delete this after reading." Her heart stopped. "Sister." There was only one person who called her that. Jiho, her brother. She had not heard from him in 5 years. The last she knew, he was working in a factory on a moon somewhere in the outer systems. He had told her to stay safe. He had told her not to do anything stupid. And then he had disappeared. She deleted the message and waited. The next night, another one came. This time, there were instructions, a frequency, a time, a warning. Tell no one. Yuna followed the instructions. She waited until the palace was quiet, and then she used her datapad to connect to the frequency. A voice came through, scratchy and distant. "Yuna? Is that you?" She almost cried. "Jiho, where are you? What happened to you?" "I am with the resistance," he said. "The human resistance. We are fighting back, Yuna. We are going to take back what they stole from us." Yuna felt cold. She had heard rumors about the resistance, a fleet of human ships hidden at the edge of the galaxy, attacks on Velith supply lines, stolen weapons. It all seemed so far away, like a story that had nothing to do with her. But now her brother was part of it. "Jiho, that is dangerous. The hegemony will destroy you." "They have been destroying us for 100 years, he said. "At least now we are fighting back." He paused. "But that is not why I contacted you. I contacted you because of where you are. The palace? You are close to the Empress. Closer than any human has ever been. Do you understand what that means?" Yuna understood. She was not stupid. "You want me to spy for you," she said. "I want you to help us. Anything you can learn. Troop movements, security codes, weaknesses, anything." "And if I say no?" Jiho was quiet for a moment. "Then I will not force you. You are my sister. I love you. But Yuna, think about what they have done to us. Think about Mom and Dad. Think about Earth. Do you really want to spend the rest of your life singing songs for the woman who destroyed our world?" Yuna closed her eyes. She thought about her parents. She thought about Earth. She thought about all the things the hegemony had taken from humanity. But she also thought about the Empress, the questions she asked, the way she listened, the sadness in her eyes. "I will think about it," Yuna said. "That is all I ask. I will contact you again soon. Stay safe, sister." The connection ended. Yuna sat in the dark, her mind spinning. She did not sleep that night. The next evening, when she went to sing for the Empress, she felt different. She felt like she was carrying something heavy, a secret, a choice. The Empress noticed. "You are distracted tonight," she said. "Your voice is not the same." Yuna forced herself to focus. "I am sorry, Your Majesty. I did not sleep well." The Empress studied her. "Is something troubling you?" "Yes, everything. My brother wants me to betray you, and I do not know if he is wrong." "No, Your Majesty," Yuna said. I am fine. She was not fine, but she sang anyway, and when she left the throne room that night, she felt the weight of the Empire pressing down on her. The days passed. Jiho contacted her again, and again. Each time he asked if she had decided. Each time she said she was still thinking. But she was not just thinking. She was watching. She was listening. She learned things. She learned that the hegemony was not as strong as it seemed. She learned that there were cracks in the Empire. Other species were unhappy. Other worlds were restless. The Velith had ruled for 10,000 years. But 10,000 years was a long time, and people were tired. She learned that the resistance was growing. Admiral Dohun, a human who had once been a slave in the Imperial shipyards, had built a fleet from stolen ships and broken parts. He was smart and brave and patient. He was not trying to win a war. He was trying to start a fire. And she learned about High Chancellor Miran. Miran was the second most powerful Velith in the Empire. She was old, almost as old as the Empress. But where the Empress was tired and empty, Miran was sharp and hungry. She believed in the hegemony. She believed in Velith supremacy. She believed that other species were tools to be used and discarded. And she hated Yuna. Yuna saw her watching sometimes, from the shadows of the throne room. Miran's eyes were like ice, and every time they looked at Yuna, she felt like something was measuring her for a coffin. One night, Miran came to her room. Yuna opened the door, and there she was, tall and pale, with white hair and a face that showed nothing. Human, Miran said. I know what you are doing. Yuna's heart pounded. I am not doing anything, Chancellor. I am just... You are corrupting the Empress. Miran stepped closer. You are filling her head with human weakness, emotion, sentiment. These things are poison to the Velith. They make us soft. They make us forget who we are. I am just singing songs, Yuna said. That is all. Songs are never just songs. They are weapons, and you are using them against us. Miran's eyes were cold. I will be watching you, human. And when you make a mistake, and you will make a mistake, I will be there. She turned and walked away. Her footsteps echoed in the empty hall. Yuna closed the door and leaned against it. Her hands were shaking. She thought about Jiho. She thought about the resistance. She thought about Admiral Dohun and his stolen ships. And she thought about the Empress, the way she closed her eyes when Yuna sang. The way she asked questions like a child trying to understand the world. The way she said, please, like she was remembering how to be human. Yuna was caught between two worlds. Her brother wanted her to fight. Miran wanted her to fail. And the Empress wanted something she did not even have words for. She did not know what to do. That night, when she went to sing, the Empress was not on her throne. She was standing by the window looking out at the stars. Your Majesty, Yuna said. I have been thinking, the Empress said, about the things you have told me, about home, about feeling alive. She turned around. I have ruled this empire for 3,000 years, Yuna. I have done terrible things. I have conquered worlds and scattered peoples and built monuments to my own power, and I did it because I thought it would fill the emptiness inside me. She paused. It did not. Yuna did not know what to say. I am tired, the Empress said. I am so tired, and I do not know how to stop. Yuna looked at her, at this ancient, powerful, broken woman who had everything and nothing at the same time. Maybe you do not need to stop, Yuna said. Maybe you just need to start something new. The Empress looked at her, and for the first time, Yuna saw something in her eyes that was not empty. It was hope. But hope, Yuna knew, was a dangerous thing. It could save you, or it could destroy you. She just did not know which one it would be. She was in the deep archives, the place where she used to work before the Empress took her. She was not supposed to be there anymore. Her job now was to sing, not to organize old boxes. But she could not sleep, and she needed to think, and the archives were the only place in the palace where she felt like herself. She was looking through a box of Earth artifacts when she found the data chip. It was old, older than anything she had ever seen. The label was faded, but she could still read the words. Earth Song. Forbidden. Her hands trembled. She had heard of the Earth Song. Every human had. It was a legend, a myth, a story that mothers whispered to their children when the Valith were not listening. They said it was the most beautiful song ever written. They said it contained everything that made humans human. Joy and sorrow, hope and fear, love and loss. All of it, woven together in a single piece of music. They also said the hegemony had banned it. They said anyone caught listening to it would be executed. They said the Valith were afraid of it. Una did not know if any of that was true, but holding the chip in her hands, she felt like she was holding a piece of her own soul. She took it back to her room. She locked the door and put the chip into her data pad. For a long moment, she just stared at the screen. Then she pressed play. The music started slowly, a single voice, high and clear, singing words in a language Una did not recognize. Then another voice joined. Then another. The melody rose and fell like waves on a shore. It was soft, then loud, then soft again. It was happy, then sad, then happy again. It was everything. Una listened, and she wept. She saw things, flashes of images that were not memories because she had never lived them, but felt like memories anyway. A child laughing in a field of flowers, an old woman holding a photograph and crying, two lovers dancing in a kitchen while rain fell outside. A soldier writing a letter he knew he would never send. She felt things she did not have words for, a longing so deep it hurt, a joy so bright it burned, a sadness so vast it felt like the ocean, all of it all at once, filling her up until she thought she would burst. When the song ended, she could not move. She sat in the dark and breathed, and she understood why the hegemony had banned it. This song was dangerous. It was not a weapon. It was not a code or a secret or a plan. It was just music. But it was music that could make you feel everything it meant to be human. And to the Valith, who had forgotten how to feel, that was more dangerous than any army. Una knew she should destroy the chip. She knew she should forget she ever found it. But she could not. The song was inside her now. It was part of her. And she thought about the Empress. She thought about the questions the Empress asked, the way she closed her eyes when Una sang, the way she said she did not remember what happy felt like. What would happen if the Empress heard this song? It could awaken something in her. It could change her. But it could also break her. The Valith mind was not built for this kind of emotion. 3,000 years of emptiness, and then suddenly, all of that feeling at once. It might be too much. It might destroy her. Una did not know what to do. She kept the chip hidden. She kept singing for the Empress every night. But every night she thought about the Earth Song. It was like a fire burning in her chest, and she did not know if she should feed it or put it out. One night, the Empress found her crying. Una was in her room, listening to the song again, and she did not hear the door open. When she looked up, the Empress was standing there watching her. Una quickly turned off the data pad. "Your Majesty, What were you listening to?" Una's mouth was dry. "Nothing. Just an old song." The Empress walked closer. Her eyes were fixed on the data pad. "You were crying. I have never seen you cry." "It is nothing, Your Majesty. I am sorry. I will—" "Show me." Una's heart stopped. "Your Majesty, I cannot. It is forbidden." The Empress looked at her. Her face was calm, but there was something underneath it, something hungry. "I am the Empress," she said. "Nothing is forbidden to me." Una wanted to argue. She wanted to say that some things were dangerous, even for an empress. She wanted to say that this song could change everything, and she did not know if the empress was ready for that. But she looked at the empress, and she saw the loneliness in her eyes. 3,000 years of emptiness. 3,000 years of sitting on a cold throne in a cold palace, wondering if there was something wrong with her. Maybe the Earth Song could heal that. Or maybe it would break her into pieces. Either way, Yuna thought, she deserved to hear it. "Sit down," Yuna said. "Please." The Empress sat. Yuna took a deep breath. She picked up the data pad, and then she put it down again. "I should not play the recording," she said. "If someone hears it, we will both be in trouble." "Then what?" "I will sing it for you. I have heard it enough times. I know it by heart." The Empress was quiet. She looked at Yuna, and Yuna looked at her, and something passed between them. An understanding. A trust. "Are you sure?" the Empress asked. "You said it was forbidden." "It is," Yuna said. "But some things are worth the risk." She closed her eyes. She breathed, and she began to sing. The Earth Song poured out of her. It was not perfect. Her voice cracked on some of the high notes. She forgot some of the words and had to hum instead. But it did not matter. The song was bigger than her voice. The song was bigger than both of them. She sang about birth and death. She sang about love found and love lost. She sang about children growing up and parents growing old. She sang about war and peace, about fear and courage, about all the tiny moments that made up a human life. She sang about what it meant to feel everything all the time and to keep going anyway. When she finished, she opened her eyes. The Empress had not moved. She sat perfectly still, her hands in her lap. Her face turned away. Yuna waited, then she heard it. A sound she had never heard before. A sound she did not think was possible. The Empress was crying. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears sliding down her pale cheeks one after another. She was crying, and she did not try to stop. "Your Majesty," Yuna whispered. The Empress did not answer. She just sat there crying silently, like someone who had forgotten how and was learning again. Finally, she spoke. "I saw them," she said. Her voice was shaking. "The humans. All of them. I saw their lives. I felt their joy and their pain. I felt—" She stopped. She could not find the words. "I know," Yuna said. The Empress looked at her. Her eyes were red. Her face was wet. She looked broken. She looked beautiful. "How do you survive it?" she whispered. "Feeling this much?" Yuna thought about her mother. She thought about her father. She thought about Jiho and Earth and all the things she had lost. "We do not survive it," she said. "We just keep singing." The Empress closed her eyes. The tears kept falling, and Yuna understood that nothing would ever be the same again. She sat in the chair by the window looking out at the stars while the tears dried on her face. She did not speak for a long time. Yuna sat on the floor beside her and waited. Finally, the Empress spoke. "I remember things," she said. Her voice was soft, like she was talking to herself. "Things I never lived. A woman holding a baby, a man dying in the snow, children playing in a river. I remember them all. I feel them all." Yuna nodded. "That is the song. It carries the memories of everyone who ever sang it. Every human who ever lived and loved and lost. They are all in there." "It is so much," the Empress whispered. "So much life. So much feeling." She pressed her hand to her chest. "I did not know it could hurt like this. I did not know anything could hurt like this." Yuna reached out and took her hand. The Empress's skin was cold. "It hurts because you are alive. That is what being alive feels like." The Empress looked at her. Her eyes were different now. They were not empty anymore. They were full of something, Pain, yes, but also wonder. Like someone who had been blind their whole life and was seeing colors for the first time. "I have lived for 3,000 years," she said, "and I have never felt anything like this. I have never felt anything at all." She paused. "I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I was broken. But maybe I was just asleep. And now?" The Empress breathed deeply. "Now I am awake." They sat together until the sun came up. The Empress talked, and Yuna listened. She talked about her long life, about the things she had done and the things she had not done, about the empire she had built and the emptiness it could not fill. She talked about the other Velith, how they had all lost the ability to feel, slowly, over thousands of years. How they had convinced themselves that emotion was weakness, that feeling was a flaw. How they had built a perfect, cold, empty civilization and called it progress. "We thought we were better than other species," she said. "We thought we had evolved beyond pain and joy and all the messy things that made life hard. But we had not evolved. We had just died inside." Yuna thought about this. "Can the others wake up too? Can they learn to feel again?" The Empress shook her head. "I do not know. Some of them maybe, but not all. Some of them are too far gone. Some of them like being empty." She looked at Yuna. "And some of them will fight to stay that way." Yuna thought about Chancellor Moran, her cold eyes, her sharp words, her hatred. "What will you do?" Yuna asked. The Empress was quiet for a long moment. "I do not know yet, but I know I cannot go back to what I was. I cannot sit on that throne and pretend that nothing matters. I cannot rule an empire built on emptiness." She looked at Yuna. "Your people, the humans, you were the ones we tried hardest to break. And you never broke. You kept your songs, you kept your feelings, you kept your hearts. Why?" Yuna thought about her mother, singing in the dark, her father, telling stories about Earth, Jiho, sending messages from across the galaxy, still fighting. "Because the feelings are all we have," she said. "You can take our worlds, you can scatter us across the stars, but you cannot take away what we feel. That belongs to us." The Empress nodded slowly. "I understand now. I understand why we feared you." "Feared us?" "Yes. We told ourselves that humans were weak, that your emotions made you easy to control, but that was not true. The truth is that we were afraid. We were afraid that if we let ourselves feel what you feel, we would have to change. We would have to become something new." She paused. "And we were right." The sun rose higher. The Empress stood. "I need to go," she said. "There are things I need to think about, things I need to decide." Yuna stood too. "What kind of things?" The Empress looked at her, and for the first time she smiled. It was a small smile, uncertain, like she was not sure how to do it. But it was real. "Big things," she said. "The kind of things that change everything." She left. Yuna stood at the window and watched the city wake up below. Ships flew between the towers. People moved through the streets. The empire went on, the way it always had. But Yuna knew that something had changed, something that could not be undone. The days that followed were strange. The Empress did not call for Yuna. She did not appear in the throne room. The palace was full of whispers. Where was the Empress? What was she doing? Why would she not see anyone? Yuna heard the rumors. She heard that the Empress was sick. She heard that the Empress was dying. She heard that the Empress had gone mad. She did not believe any of it. She knew what was really happening. The Empress was changing. She was waking up, and that was harder than any sickness. Then one night a message came. "Come to the throne room. Now." Yuna went. The halls were empty. The guards were gone. Something was wrong. She pushed open the doors to the throne room, and there was the Empress. But she was not alone. Chancellor Miran was there. She stood in front of the throne, her white hair gleaming in the dim light. Behind her were soldiers, dozens of them. They all had weapons, and they were all pointed at the Empress. "Ah," Miran said, turning to look at Yuna. "The human. Good. You should see this." Yuna's heart was pounding. "What is happening? What are you doing?" "What I should have done a long time ago," Miran said. "The Empress is no longer fit to rule. She has been corrupted by human sentiment. She has become weak. She has become a danger to the hegemony." The Empress stood by her throne. She was calm. Too calm. "Miran, this is treason." "No," Miran said. "This is survival. The Velith have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years because we are strong, because we do not let feelings cloud our judgment. You want to throw all of that away because some human girl sang you a song?" She shook her head. "I will not allow it." Yuna stepped forward. "Leave her alone." Miran laughed. It was a cold sound. "Or what? What will you do, little human? Sing at me?" She gestured to the soldiers. "Take her. She will be executed in the morning. The Empress will watch, and then the Empress will step down, and the hegemony will continue as it always has." The soldiers moved toward Yuna. She backed away, but there was nowhere to go. And then the Empress spoke. "No." It was a single word, but it filled the room. The soldiers stopped. Miran turned. The Empress stepped forward. She was not wearing her crown. She was not wearing her robes. She looked like an ordinary person. But there was something in her eyes that was not ordinary at all. "I will not let you hurt her," the Empress said. "I will not let you erase what I have learned. I will not go back to being empty." Miran's face twisted. "You are a fool. You are throwing away everything for feelings, for a human." "Yes," the Empress said. "I am." She looked at Yuna, and Yuna saw it in her eyes. The pain, the hope, the love, the love. "I am awake now," the Empress said. "And I am not going back to sleep." Miran drew her weapon. "Then you will die awake." She raised the weapon. Yuna screamed, and everything went dark. Yuna opened her eyes. She was lying on the floor of the throne room. Her head hurt, her ears were ringing. She did not know what had happened. Then she remembered. Miran, the weapon, the Empress. She pushed herself up and looked around. The throne room was chaos. Soldiers were shouting, alarms were screaming, and in the middle of it all, the Empress was standing. She was not hurt. She was not dead. She was just standing there, looking at Miran, who was on the floor. Yuna did not understand. Then she saw the other soldiers, the ones who had not been with Miran. They wore different uniforms. They were loyal to the Empress. There had been a fight, and the Empress had won. Miran was on her knees, her hands bound behind her. Her white hair was messy. Her face was twisted with rage. "This is not over," she said. "The Council will never accept this. The hegemony will never accept an Empress who has been corrupted by humans." The Empress looked down at her. "Maybe not. But that is not your decision to make." She turned to Yuna. "Are you hurt?" Yuna shook her head. "I am fine. But how? I knew Miran was planning something. I have known for weeks. I let her think she was winning so that I could see who was loyal to her and who was loyal to me." The Empress paused. "I am sorry I could not tell you. I needed you to be afraid. I needed it to be real." Yuna did not know what to say. She had thought she was going to die. She had thought the Empress was going to die. "You scared me," she said finally. "I know. And I am sorry." The Empress reached out and touched Yuna's face. Her hand was warm. "But it is over now. Miran will be held for trial. Her followers will be arrested. We are safe." Yuna wanted to believe her, but she looked at Miran's face, and she saw something there. Something that said this was not over, not even close. "What will happen to her?" Yuna asked. She will be judged by the council. If they find her guilty of treason, she will be executed." Miran laughed. It was an ugly sound. "You think the council will side with you? You are a disgrace to the Velith. You have been poisoned by human weakness. They will see that. They will see what you have become." The Empress did not answer. She just turned away. "Take her to the cells," she said to the soldiers. "She is to speak to no one until the trial." The soldiers dragged Miran away. She went quietly, but her eyes never left the Empress. They were full of hate, and something else, confidence. She thinks she is going to win, Yuna thought. Even now she thinks she is going to win. The days that followed were tense. The council met in secret. The palace was full of whispers. Everyone was choosing sides. Some of the Velith supported the Empress. They were the younger ones, mostly, the ones who were curious about humans, the ones who had always felt that something was missing from Velith life, but others supported Miran. They were the old guard, the traditionalists, the ones who believed that the hegemony had survived for 10,000 years because it did not change, and it should not start changing now. Yuna stayed close to the Empress. She was afraid that someone would try to hurt her again. The Empress told her not to worry, but Yuna could see the strain in her face. She was tired. She was scared. She was carrying the weight of an entire civilization on her shoulders. And then one night Jiho called. "Yuna, we heard what happened. Are you safe?" "I am safe. The Empress protected me." There was a pause. "The Empress protected you? The same Empress who conquered Earth? The same Empress who scattered our people across the galaxy?" Yuna closed her eyes. "She is changing, Jiho. She is not the same person she was. She heard the Earth song, and it woke something up inside her. She wants to do better." "Do better?" Jiho's voice was hard. "Our parents are dead because of her. Our world is gone because of her. And you want to forgive her because she cried at a song? I am not forgiving her. I am just—" Yuna stopped. She did not know how to explain it. She did not know how to make him understand. "We are coming," Jiho said. Yuna's heart stopped. "What?" "Admiral Dohun is bringing the fleet. We have been planning this for years, Yuna. An attack on Velith Prime, the heart of the hegemony. We were waiting for the right moment, and this is it. The Velith are divided. The Empress is weak. It is now or never." "Jiho, no, you cannot do this." "Why not? Because you care about her? Because she cried at your song?" His voice cracked. "She is a monster, Yuna. She has killed millions of people. And you are defending her because she has feelings now?" Yuna did not know what to say. He was not wrong. The Empress had done terrible things. She had conquered worlds and destroyed civilizations and caused more suffering than Yuna could imagine. But she had also changed. She had woken up. She had learned to feel. Did that make up for what she had done? Did anything make up for it? "Please," Yuna said. "Just wait. Give her a chance. She is trying to make things right." "We have waited long enough," Jiho said. "The fleet leaves tomorrow. We will be there in 3 days." The connection ended. Yuna sat in the dark. Her mind was racing. The resistance was coming. Her brother was coming. And when they arrived, there would be a battle. People would die. Maybe the Empress would die. Maybe Jiho would die. She had to do something. She went to the throne room. The Empress was there, sitting in her chair, looking out the window. "Your Majesty," Yuna said, "I need to tell you something." The Empress turned. "What is it?" Yuna took a deep breath. "The human resistance is coming. A fleet led by Admiral Dohun. They will be here in 3 days. The Empress's face did not change. "I know." Yuna blinked. "You know? I have known about the resistance for years. I have watched them grow. I have watched them steal ships and recruit soldiers. I could have destroyed them 100 times, but I did not." "Why not?" The Empress was quiet for a moment. Because part of me wanted them to succeed. Part of me wanted someone to stop me. She looked at Yuna. Your people never gave up. Even when we took everything from you, you never stopped fighting. I hated that, and I admired it. Yuna did not know what to say. The council meets tomorrow, the Empress said. They will decide what to do about Miran. And they will decide what to do about the resistance. She paused. I need you to be there. Me? Why? The Empress stood. She walked to Yuna and took her hands. Because you are the reason any of this is happening. You woke me up, Yuna. You showed me what it means to feel. And tomorrow, I am going to ask the council to do something that no Empress has ever done before. She paused. I am going to ask them to let the conquered worlds go free. Yuna's breath caught. They will never agree to that. Maybe not. But I have to try. The Empress squeezed her hands. Will you stand with me? Yuna thought about Jiho. She thought about the fleet. She thought about everything that was coming. And she thought about the Empress, this strange, ancient, beautiful woman who had destroyed her world and was now trying to save it. Yes, Yuna said. I will stand with you. The Empress smiled. It was a sad smile, but it was real. Thank you, she said. Thank you for teaching me how to feel. Yuna nodded, but inside she was afraid, because she knew that tomorrow everything would change, and she did not know if any of them would survive it. The council chamber was a vast room carved from black stone, lit by floating lights that cast no shadows. 12 Veleth sat in a circle, their faces pale and unreadable. They were the oldest and most powerful members of the hegemony. They had ruled alongside the Empress for thousands of years, and now they were going to decide the fate of the galaxy. The Empress stood in the center of the circle. She was not wearing her crown. She was not wearing her robes. She wore simple clothes like an ordinary person. Yuna stood beside her. Miran was there too, in chains, guarded by soldiers. Her face was calm, but her eyes were burning. You have heard the accusations, the Empress said. High Chancellor Miran attempted to overthrow me. She tried to kill me and my archivist. She has committed treason. One of the council members, an ancient Veleth with silver eyes, spoke. We have heard her accusations as well. She says you have been corrupted by human sentiment. She says you are no longer fit to rule. Yes, the Empress said. She is right. The council stirred. Even Miran looked surprised. I have been corrupted, the Empress continued. But not in the way she means. I have been corrupted by something the Veleth forgot a long time ago. I have been corrupted by feeling. She looked around the circle. We have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We have conquered 100 worlds and 1,000 species. We have built the greatest empire in history. And we have done it by cutting out our own hearts. We told ourselves that emotion was weakness. We told ourselves that feeling was a flaw. We told ourselves that we were better than the other species because we did not need joy or love or pain. She paused. We were wrong. The council was silent. I met a human, the Empress said. A young woman named Yuna. She worked in my archives. She was nobody. But she had something that I did not have. She had songs. Songs about love and loss, about hope and despair, about all the things that make life worth living. She sang them for me, and I listened. And slowly, I began to remember what it felt like to be alive. She turned and looked at Yuna. She taught me that feeling is not weakness. It is strength. It is the thing that makes us keep going when everything falls apart. It is the thing that makes us reach out to others. It is the thing that makes us more than machines. She turned back to the council. The hegemony is dying. We do not see it, because it is dying slowly, but it is dying. We have conquered everything, and we feel nothing. We have built monuments to our power, and they are empty. We are a civilization of ghosts, and we do not even know it. One of the council members spoke. What are you proposing? The Empress took a deep breath. I am proposing that we let the conquered worlds go free. I am proposing that we dissolve the forced annexations and give every species the right to choose their own path. I am proposing that we admit that we were wrong and that we try to do better. The chamber exploded. Council members shouted. Soldiers shifted nervously. Miran laughed, a cold, triumphant sound. You see, Miran said, she is mad. She wants to destroy everything we have built. She wants to throw away 10,000 years of Velith rule because a human sang her a song. Are you really going to let her do this? The council argued. Some of them agreed with Miran. The hegemony was their legacy, their identity, their reason for existing. How could they just give it up? But others were not so sure. They looked at the Empress, and they saw something in her eyes that they had not seen in a very long time. They saw life. Then the alarms went off. Red lights flashed. Sirens screamed. A voice came over the speakers. Alert! Enemy fleet detected. Human resistance forces approaching. All defensive stations prepare for battle. Yuna's heart stopped. Jiho. He was here. The council descended into chaos. Soldiers ran to their posts. Council members shouted orders. Miran smiled. It seems the humans have decided to make the decision for you, she said. Destroy them and restore the hegemony, or let them destroy you. The choice is yours. The Empress stood very still. She closed her eyes, and then she opened them. No, she said. No. There will be no battle. There will be no destruction. She turned to one of her guards. Open a channel to the human fleet. The guard hesitated. Your Majesty, do it. The guard opened the channel. A voice came through, rough and hard. This is Admiral Dohun of the Human Resistance. We are here to liberate our people and end the hegemony's tyranny. Surrender now, or we will attack. The Empress stepped forward. Admiral Dohun, this is Empress Hayun. I am not going to surrender to you, but I am also not going to fight you. There was silence on the other end. I am going to give you what you want, the Empress said. Freedom. For Earth. For every conquered world. For every species under hegemony rule. I am dissolving the forced annexations. I am ending the empire. More silence. Then, why should we believe you? You should not, the Empress said. You have no reason to trust me. I have done terrible things. I have caused suffering beyond measure. Nothing I do now can undo that. But I can stop causing more. I can try to make things right. And I am asking you to give me the chance. Yuna heard another voice in the background. Jiho. He was saying something to Dohun. She could not hear the words, but she knew her brother's voice. Then Dohun spoke again. Hold your position. We will send a shuttle to negotiate. The Empress let out a breath. Thank you, Admiral. Miran's face twisted with rage. You cannot do this. The Council will never... The Council will decide for themselves, the Empress said. She turned to the 12 Velith sitting in their circle. You have heard my proposal. You have seen the human fleet. You can fight them and win, maybe. You can hold the hegemony together by force, for a while. But you cannot stop the change that is coming. It is already here. She looked at each of them in turn. We have a choice. We can die as we have lived, empty and alone, or we can learn to feel again. We can become something new. The council was silent. Then slowly, one of them stood. It was the ancient Velith with silver eyes. I am tired, he said. I have lived for 4,000 years, and I am tired. I have watched us conquer and build and rule, and none of it has meant anything. He looked at the Empress. I want to know what it feels like to care about something. I stand with the Empress. Another council member stood, then another, then another. Miran screamed. She tried to break free from her chains, but the soldiers held her. You are destroying everything, she shouted. You are betraying our people. You are— Take her away, the Empress said quietly. The soldiers dragged Miran out. Her screams echoed in the chamber, and then they were gone. The battle never happened. Admiral Dohun came to the palace with Jiho and a group of officers. They sat down with the Empress and the council, and they talked, they argued, they shouted, but in the end, they agreed. The hegemony would release the conquered worlds. Earth would be free. The humans would be allowed to go home. It would take years to make it all happen. There were 1,000 details to work out, 1,000 problems to solve. But it was a beginning. After the meeting, Yuna found Jiho in the hallway. You came, she said. He looked at her. His face was hard, the way it had been on the call, but his eyes were soft. You were right, he said, about her. I do not understand it. I do not know if I can forgive her. But I saw her in that chamber, and I saw that she meant it. She really is trying to change. Yuna nodded. She is. Jiho reached out and pulled her into a hug. I missed you, sister. I missed you too. That night, Yuna went to the balcony of the palace. The Empress was there, standing alone, looking out at the stars. It is done, the Empress said. Or it is beginning. I am not sure which. Yuna stood beside her. It is both. The Empress was quiet for a long moment. Then she turned to Yuna. Will you stay? She asked. When the humans go home to Earth, will you stay here? With me? Yuna looked at her. This ancient, powerful, broken woman who had destroyed her world and was now trying to save it. This woman who had learned to feel because of a song. I do not know, Yuna said honestly. I want to see Earth. I have never been there. I want to know what home feels like. The Empress nodded. I understand. But I will come back, Yuna said. I will always come back. The Empress smiled. It was a real smile, warm and sad and full of feeling. Will you sing for me? She asked. One more time? Yuna smiled back. Always. The Empress closed her eyes, and Yuna began to sing the Earth Song. It poured out of her, filling the night, rising up to the stars, all the joy and all the sorrow, all the love and all the loss, all the hope and all the pain, everything that made humans human, everything that made life worth living. And this time, when she reached the chorus, another voice joined hers. The Empress was singing. Her voice was rough and unpracticed. She did not know all the words, but she was trying. She was feeling. She was alive. They stood together on the balcony, two women from different worlds, singing a song about home, about belonging, about what it meant to feel everything and keep going anyway. And somewhere out there, across the galaxy, other people were listening, other people were learning, other people were waking up. The empire was ending, but something new was beginning, and it started with a song.